What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the 90. I'm here with the friend of the show, Lewis G. How are you doing
Come
after?
on, bro.
It's good to have you on. And we're just going to talk a bit about your perspective about Chelsea. So I know Chilwell been on your lips and been on Chelsea, Frank Lampard's lips since beginning of January. It feels like it's just gone on and on and on as the season's like dragged on as well. And just it looks like from our sources that have said to be believed that he was going to for £60 million. It's something that we've kind of known for a while that he's going to go to another club. It looks like he's going to Chelsea. What are your thoughts overall on it?
I'm not gonna lie, I can never completely look over that transfer fee, and it does feel a bit wild. But I've said it on my channel, I'm gonna say it on here. We said the same thing with Didier Drogba when he joined us in 2004. That judge him when he leaves the club because that price tag didn't make sense then, and this price tag doesn't really make that much sense now. But it all depends on what Chilwell can bring, and it all depends on how much he can grow. And he's a good left back, regardless of how much holes people want to poke in his game or anything like that. He's still a good left back, and he's still way, way better than any other left back that we have right now. So when it comes to him, there's still plenty of room to grow. Defensively, he's not the best, but he's also not that bad in that position either. Going forward, we know what he brings, and we know how good he is going forward. But there's room to develop. Ashley Cole believes in him. Frank Lampard believes in him. And I think we've spent so many years saying our managers don't get the backing they deserve, or we give them B-Tech versions of the players they actually want. Lampard's coming out and clearly saying, I want Chilwell. I don't want Tagliafico. I don't want Reguilon. I don't want Alex Telles. I want Chilwell. So you know what? If he wants him that bad and he really believes in him, I ain't going to say nothing about it because Lampard ain't really done that much wrong for me so far.
To be fair, yeah, he has had a pretty good first season, and if he's got his eyes set on Chilwell, it does seem like a player that, I mean, if you're going to break the record for him, I mean, the only player I could think that even comes close is Carl Walker. He was kind of the main product that slept right into that position for Man City, but obviously they see something in him. I think if you can get the best out of Chilwell at Chelsea, he'll be an unbelievable player. One thing that we were just on your show talking about is that your players seem to be, even the fans on Twitter and stuff seem to be getting on his back even at the moment. And we're just saying from our perspective, from a Leicester perspective, he can be affected quite a lot by that. So if things do go south and he isn't as adventurous as maybe he could be, could you see the Chelsea fans in the ground turning on him a little bit more?
Chelsea fans are ruthless. It depends on how bad it is because I'll be real. I think the English spot does play a factor into it a little bit. I do think he'll get a bit of patience on that, but I think also fans are going to have that price tag on their heads, and that's half the reason why the fans have been so ruthless on this as well. It's not me trying to justify or anything, but it's me more trying to explain what they're trying to do, and it doesn't make sense to me. And I think abusing a player who looks like he's going to join us before he's even joined us is one of the dumbest shoot yourself in the foot things you could ever do. It doesn't make sense to me. But same way, the expectations at Chelsea are strong. They are very strong. And players have cracked under it before. Alvaro Morata couldn't handle the pressure at Chelsea. Bakayoko, I remember that game against Watford where the ball just rebounded off him for 30 minutes and then he got sent off and the fans were chanting, you're effing shit at him the whole game. No, while he was walking off and applauding us. So it's like, it is really going to be hard if he doesn't hit the ground running. And I don't want that for him. But at the same way, I know what the standard is like at Chelsea. I know how hard it can be. And it could be a bit of a struggle. I think all the stuff with the Twitter guy, with all the Twitter comments, I think that's a completely different type of fan to the type of fan that you would see going to games. I think when it comes to match-going fans, I'd say they're a lot more loyal, but it's hard to ever really group them into one thing because you've got so many people who support the same thing, but they think in different ways. But I think in the ground, they're a lot more supportive while the game is going on. I think if you have a good start to the game, they'll support you. Even if you have a bad game, they'll get annoyed, but they'll still support you. It's only in the case of if it becomes too frequent and you're still getting played, then they start to rage. But other than that, I don't think in the ground he's going to get unless the form just takes a big nosedive or anything like that.
Yeah, and one thing as well is that from your perspective as well, from a left back, you've got competition there. because of our light squad, we've not really got the competition. Like Christian Fuchs isn't really going to come in, even though some of the fans have been asking for it, and perform to that same level. So there's definitely more of a lenience in the way of Leicester, like in terms of he can get away with a few big mistakes. And that's kind of the awesome thing about Leicester. They can kind of hold off on certain things. But so just back to like Frank Lampard and stuff like that, do you think from the way he's managed players like Mount with the new players like Tomori and James and stuff like that, do you think he can get the best out of Chilwell?
I think Frank Lampard's an amazing manager. And we've seen it with a couple players from Chelsea this season as well. I'm going to use Christian Pulisic as a huge example because start of the season, he was barely getting any game time around August to October. He was looking very weak on the ball in the Premier League and he didn't look like he was adapting at all. Lampard dropped him on the bench for a couple games while he improved on his form. Came back against Burnley. Came back against Ajax. And I think he got the assist for the only goal in that game. And then he scored 5 goals in his next 3 games, including a perfect hat-trick at Burnley. Got another injury in January. Before then, he was looking dangerous, but nothing like he was like post-lockdown. He was still looking good, but he was still getting to that form. Once he came back from injury post-lockdown, different player. One of the best, playing like one of the best players in the league. He looks like a regen of early Eden Hazard because he's that good on the ball, but he's just got that bit more of a goal threat to him as well. I think Hazard always preferred that pass, always preferred looking for the passer's shot, where Pulisic, he's looking to be more deadly. He's looking to be the guy that the team looks on to score those goals as well as create them as well. So that's one example of how good of a manager he is. Another example, what was it? Andreas Christensen. It's a smaller example because his form hasn't really been as good. But his form got a lot better around January, February. We were putting him in a partnership with Rudiger and it was doing well. And he was another one that got dropped at the start of the season because his form wasn't doing so well either. So I think with Frank Lampard, definitely, he can get the best out of Chilwell. And if it doesn't work, it would probably be more Chilwell than it would be Frank Lampard because I think Lampard's a growing manager, but he's also a very smart manager. He knows what will work. He knows what won't work. If a mistake doesn't work for him, he probably isn't going to make the same mistake twice.
Fair enough. That makes sense. I think you're looking at moving on somebody like Alonso and kind of him in replacement. Is this a left back, a position that you think overall that Chelsea need a player to really strengthen in that position?
Definitely. But even before the attackers, I was saying, just get a left back. Please just get a left back. And I've been saying it for years as well because our left backs have been horrendous. Alonso's had his decent games. He's had his shocking games too. And I think his weaknesses are still there to be exploited and you can't really change him. Like, he is going to be slow. If he doesn't think he's winning a race, he isn't going to come back in time. I don't really like that effort as well because I don't think that mentality is like truly world class. I think like people with top tier mentality, even if they ain't going to win it, they ain't going to stop running for it. That's for one. And Ben Chilwell might be different than that. But I also say when it comes to mentalities like that, the bar is literally down here. So I can expect better from him on that. Emerson as well, even Sarri's season when Alonso ends up getting dropped for Emerson for the last couple games of the season. It was only because Emerson was better. I mean, Alonso was worse. It wasn't that Emerson was much better. Like, compared to it, Emerson's only been good the first month of this season. And then he had another injury, came back, and he just wasn't the same player. Just looks like it's done for him. Alonso, I'd only keep him because he can make us play left wing back. But even in that case, Ben Chilwell's there too as well. I think he can play at wing back. I think he's got all the capabilities for it. So I don't really know. Emerson goes in my eyes, but compared to either the left backs, please, just get anybody. Honestly, we needed to sort left back for ages. That's why even when it comes to Chilwell, I don't like the price tag. I also don't really care because I know it's going to improve us. Like, anyone's deluded if they say Chilwell isn't going to improve us compared to the options that we have right now.
Yeah, because I think as well with Chilwell, I think something that we've seen, especially earlier on in the season, that he can get the ball and drive inwards in the pitch and kind of make up that midfield. And as I was just saying on your thing earlier, he can break lines quite easily. Is that something that you think that he can achieve more with with Chelsea, or so that's one of the ways that Frank Lampard likes to play. Because when Chelsea's on, when he's on form and he's driving through the middle, and defenses don't know what to do with him, is this a kind of tactic that Frank Lampard would implement? Because in my opinion, that's where you can get the best out of Chilwell.
I'm not really so sure because I get what you're trying to say because I get down the right side and that's one of the reasons why I think the Ziyech and Reece James partnership is going to be amazing on the right-hand side. You got Ziyech who can cut inside on the left and you got Reece James who can come in on the outside. And it worked as well with Hudson-Odoi as well. But I'm looking at Chilwell and our left-wing options. Pulisic would like to go inside as well, but I think with Pulisic, he also has the comfort that he can come outside too. He's good on both feet. And that's the beauty of him too. I'm not sure how good Chilwell is when it comes to the overlap, but we know how good he is when it comes to the underlap. So it might be a case of maybe they'll both be interchanging as well. If Chilwell can do the overlap, I think that could work. They're both good cutting inside. I know Pulisic can cut outside as well, and that's been the reason why I said he's been the best winger before lockdown, and that's the reason why we missed him as well before lockdown. That's why our form was starting to dip. Most of our wingers were so predictable. Willian will just get the ball, beat three players and get to the final third, have deer in the headlights flashbacks and just hold the ball for 15 minutes and cut inside and just shoot. It's predictable as hell. Pedro, not as predictable, but he's declining too much. Like, he's got quality, but it's just going. And you know what it is with someone at that age. Pulisic, though, he can come inside, he can come outside, he'll go for a shot, he'll go for a cross. He really can do anything in the final third. So that partnership with Chilwell definitely can work. And it's like I said already, compared to the options that we had before, it can't be any worse. I really feel like one of the reasons why Eden Hazard left was because of how poor the options were around him. 18-19 season, the amount of times I've seen this guy raging at Alonso because he's hit some stupid cross 30 yards out of nowhere, or Hazard's right next to him calling for the ball or something like that. You need smarter players. Going forward, Chilwell is a smarter player than Alonso is. Alonso is good going forward, but he also just likes a goal. That's good in its own right, but it's too niche of a thing. I mean, like a left wing back that's good at scoring goals, but can't really defend, can't really cross. He can dribble a little bit, but he's too slow to really beat players. I mean, it just is what it is. Chilwell would be much better than these options.
Fair enough, fair enough. And just quickly on your summer spent. So far, you've got Werner in, you've got Ziyech in. It just seems like as well, Chelsea have been linked with every player under the sun. Like, just like you're spending money left, right, and centre. Is this going to be the season that you could potentially, but if you get Chilwell in, that you can challenge for the top of the table for like the Premier League, or do you think it's still slightly too early for Frank Lampard?
I think in terms of a serious title challenge, I think we're still a defender or a goalkeeper away. I still say we need a goalkeeper. Even before a left back, I've been thinking, if you tell me go for Chilwell or use that 60 million, add another 30 million and throw Kepa in on top and challenge Jan Oblak's release clause, I'd say leave Chilwell. Like, I'll take Alonso for another year. I don't care. Because Oblak will have that effect where he will single-handedly win you games like David De Gea used to do back in the day. He has that effect. He is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and he will do that. That ability to single-handedly win you points would be what would be key in the title race, even with a dead defense, which would probably be why we don't last for as long. And right now, I'm thinking even the way we are, we'd comfortably sit third place. I don't think we'd be in a top four race for long. I think if we were in a title challenge, we'd peter out after a little while. It wouldn't look like that serious of a challenge, but we'd be third. We'd be comfortably third place right now. Add Chilwell to it, yeah, still there, but I still think we need another centre-back first. Get a centre-back or a goalkeeper, then now we're talking about being serious. But even then, same way, you've got to sort out the goalkeeper because we've got two holograms in goal right now, and you're not winning the league with anything like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, it does seem like a position that you guys are weak in. Just a final question to finish on as well. So we've seen Frank Lampard given the cash to be able to spend the Eden Hazard money, the Courtois money, and just the transfer money in general. He's been given the money to spend it how he wants. Do you feel like he's the future long-term manager of Chelsea and he could be somebody that's going to be sticking around for a long time?
Yes, but same way he also has to hit those targets. I think there needs to be a clear area of progression. And the thing with Lampard is that it really does look like there is progression. Yes, we've gone from third to fourth, but again, who cares? We've had the most experienced side in the Roman Abramovich era. I didn't even think we'd finish sixth start the season. Like, I don't care. Fourth is happy for me. Don't care about the cup final. If we won the cup final, all that was to me was giving the players a taste of a trophy. I've always been the idea of, as Chelsea, the FA Cup doesn't constitute a great season. I've never thought the FA Cup on its own constitutes a great season. I remember we finished fifth when we won the FA Cup 2 years ago. Happy with that. But as soon as it settles down, it's like, yeah, we still finished fifth and we had some of the worst football I've seen in years. FA Cup's good, but to me, it's always a bonus trophy. But for Frank Lampard, all depends on hitting the targets. I think if we do get third place, if we do play with a lot more conviction than we've looked like last season, then yes, Lampard stays. Even if we end up fourth again, I think Lampard still stays. I only think Lampard ends up going if we have a horrendous season. But I just don't see that under Frank Lampard. He's a growing manager. He has made a couple mistakes this season, but I'll talk about his intelligence. He's one of the smartest people in the game. IQ of like 150 plus. And okay, I get that. That's probably not that football related, but it's a level of intelligence, a level of understanding. And I think he has a great understanding of the game. I think he has a great understanding of the market. He has a great understanding of the press room. See him in interviews. For a guy who's only been managing a year and a half, the guy is comfortable, he's cool, he controls the press room, and it's not even in an arrogant Jose way. He knows how he's going to answer every question. Any question that comes to him, even if you don't expect it, he knows how to answer it. He knows how to answer it right, and he knows how to answer it without having any other questions being brought up because of that. There is a very intelligent manager at this club right now, and we're just seeing him at the roots of his development. But give him a few years because he's developing the same way that we are, and we need the same patience with him too. But it is about patience, and I think Abramovich has been a lot more patient ever since we've won the Champions League, and he's tried to be more sustainable. We still hire and sack, but I think a lot of them more for outside reasons. Di Matteo was good, but like the Champions League in 2012 was just, it is what it is. And Benitez never got along with the fans. Jose, the 15-16 season, the writing was just on the wall. Conte fell out with the board, which was more both of their faults, if we're being honest. And Sarri just got homesick and didn't really get the same support from the fans that he deserved to get. So now we're stuck. We have Frank Lampard. The fans like him. The board are a lot more closer to the club because of Frank Lampard and Petr Cech's involvement. Everything looks good. So it's like, I don't see why we would break it. Silly things like that happen in football, but I just don't see it this term.
Fair enough. It sounds like you've got a big plan in place and got big plans happening for Chelsea. So just quickly, I know you've got a much bigger channel than we have here, but where can the people find you, Lewis?
Check us out on Blues Fans TV. Also check out my personal channel as well, Carefree Lewis G. We'll be putting out daily Chelsea content. Also, there's a good couple videos done on Chilwell there as well. And Neil has done a very good job of keeping us in the loop of a lot of little details that we haven't noticed throughout this entire saga. So yeah, big ups Neil for dropping onto my channel as well. And yeah, check out Carefree Lewis G as well.
I appreciate having you on. So make sure you subscribe to Beyond the 90. Hope you enjoy the content and stuff like that. And we'll make sure to see you in the next video. So from me, Lewis, everything, goodbye.
Peace.